Breaking down friendship sports. This is the Tigers Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Happy Wednesday. It is the high school fan zone, Friendship Tigers fan zone, to start things off here on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. I'm Chois Woodman in for Randy Rosetta tonight. Got Coach Chris Fanelli and running back Jordon Hernandez here in the First United Bank studio with us. Fellas, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Glad to have you guys. And I know it is the start. I know there's a lot of cliches in football, but
yes,
the start of a new season, essentially, right, for a lot of football coaches around the area, because everything you did up to this point, it's good. You can learn from it, but in the long run, it doesn't matter because
right,
the games that count are the ones up now.
Correct. You know, the preseason, I thought we played a decently tough schedule, had some close games. You know, we blew out a couple teams, but every one of those games is important for this middle season, like we put it. But like we told the kids at the beginning of this week, coming off of our open week, all of that doesn't matter. You know, that 4-1 doesn't matter right now. These next 5 weeks are what we have to focus on, and our goal is to be 1-0 at the end of each of these weeks. Yeah,
and obviously this is the Little Southwest Conference, as Coach Northcutt's called it plenty of times.
Yes.
It's a tough district, tough teams. You got up and down Permian, Midland High, Central from San Angelo, Odessa High, and Midland Legacy. And you know every night you're going to get battle-tested. So, Jordan, you know how tough this district is. What's the excitement level in the locker room like right now for starting up district play?
It's pretty exciting. I mean, we have one job, and that's to win district, and we're going to get that done.
Okay. So you guys at Friendship are known for offense.
Yes.
It has kind of become like the old Mike Leach days at Texas Tech, where you can be down by 21 points, but no one's counting you out of it because the offense can strike so quickly. What's it like, Coach Fanelli, to be at the helm of an offense that's potent?
Well, it's awesome to have, that many weapons. With Jordan, Leighton Stone, Chase Campbell, where we've implemented more in our running game, but to have those guys that can score in one play and change the game, change the momentum in a game so quickly. It's really cool. It's you could become more creative offensively as well for each game plan with the versatility of the guys that we have this year.
And that's got to be nice to have those kind of guys on the outside, because that's got to open up the run game quite a bit for you.
Yes,
Jordan.
sir, it does. Yes, sir.
So it's a offense that we'll talk about quite a bit, but also looking at this team as a whole, what makes this team different, maybe, Coach Fanelli, from some in the past, some of those that y'all have built up to this point where you feel like it's one that can make a long run this year?
Well, always, when you have teams that are close off the field, when we have the leadership that we do, when we have kids that have been through some tough times, so to speak, coming up through the program and are now have taken pride in what we're doing, have bought into our program, to our weights with Coach Uzel, to our off season, to our summer program, it's contagious. Just like bad things are contagious, so are good things. And there's a lot of good things happening in our locker room, like Jordan said. Kids are bought in. We're all on the same page.
Yeah, and that's always great to see as a coach, as a team.
Yes.
Because that chemistry is something you can't necessarily coach. It's something that kind of has to be developed and come organically, and it's something that can take a team over the edge, take you to that next step. So last week, actually, you've been in a bye week.
Right.
Prior to that, a bit of a close one against Midland Christian.
Yes.
I know a lot of the media types and those Friendship ought to win this game by quite a bit.
Right.
But the game obviously not played on paper. What was it that held or allowed Midland Christian to play this game so close and really hold on to the ball a whole lot and be able to give you guys a good test.
Oh, my hat's off to their coaching staff, their kids. They had a great game plan, which was to keep the ball from our offense.
Yeah.
Running the clock like they did, taking so much time in between plays, getting 5 and 6, when they did run the ball. We only had 6 possessions that whole game.
Yeah.
And we scored on 5 of them, which was enough. But their game plan was really good as far as coming in and taking it out of our offense's hands. It almost worked, but not quite.
Not quite.
That's
got to be frustrating, right, Jordan, where you're normally getting 10, 12 possessions a game, but you only get the ball 6 times in the hands of your playmakers. That's got to be a little maddening to stand on the sideline that much, right?
Yes, sir, it was. I mean, we couldn't really, get on the field and show what we could do.
Yeah, there's nothing you can really do about it, but that's why football's a team sport. You gotta play as a cohesive unit, and the defense did enough to help you get a victory.
They did come up with key stops at key times.
Yeah, and that's sometimes what it takes. So Midland Christian, you get the win over that. Why Midland Christian? I mean, you not get enough trips towards the Permian Basin.
I know.
During the year?
Go there one more extra time. We didn't get enough. Had to see that facility. We hadn't been there, so
yeah.
See where they played.
No one wants to play Friendship. I know how it is. It's kind of hard to get those preseason games nailed down. But yeah, I've joked about that because you get plenty of trips to the Permian Basin.
Right.
With you being track coach, you got more of those coming in later days too.
Yes,
but
more than our share for sure.
But came away with the victory and into the bye week. We'll talk about the bye week coming up in just a little bit, what you got out of that, and look ahead towards the district and what that looks like as well. You're listening to the Friendship Tigers Fan Zone, part of the high school fan zone here on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the latest news from Friendship Athletics. This is the Tiger Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Happy to be part of your Wednesday night. You've got the Friendship Tigers Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Chois Woodman with you from the First United Bank studio, joined by running back Jordon Hernandez and offensive coordinator Chris Fanelli. Before we look at the bye week and what y'all did during the bye week, first let's get to know Jordan a little bit here. So Jordan, tell us a little bit about yourself. You've been the running back at Friendship, but what do you do when you're not on the football field or on the track, as you like to run track as well?
Yes, sir. Well, mostly I like to spend time with my family and read my Bible.
Okay,
yes,
awesome.
Sir.
So faith a big part of your being?
Yes, sir. Very.
That's good. What is your favorite moment so far in your time as a Friendship Tiger?
My favorite moment is last year when we beat Cooper in overtime. That was my favorite moment.
Hey, your class, I mean, they get to claim 4 victories in a row over Lubbock Cooper.
Yes.
Sorry,
yes,
Coach, if you're listening coming in, but that's something that rivalry has been quite entertaining for the community to watch.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's pretty awesome. So what are the plans for Jordon Hernandez following high school?
My plans are if I don't get a scholarship for football, I'm gonna be a welder.
Okay, is that something you've learned in family, or you learning it in school, or
pretty much both.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right, now looking back to this past week, you guys have been in a bye week. What does that bye week look like, Coach Fanelli, for the Friendship Tigers? Is you take a little bit of the load off, get some legs rested up? What does that look like?
Yes, it's we stress that it's not an off week.
Right.
We do get 2 practices in Tuesday and Thursday, but we have a lot of film time, a lot of looking at different techniques. As far as myself and Coach Havens, we coach the offensive line, perfecting little things, our steps, our hand placement, those types of things I can speak to as far as our position group.
So mostly self-scout type of stuff?
Exactly, yes. And we do spend some time preparing for Midland High, our next opponent after the bye week on those 2 practices. But lot of individual time, trying to clean up some things from those first 5 games.
Sure, yeah. And what is that one thing that you've seen from your team that you want to see improved upon the most in the next 5 games?
Offensively, we've produced points. I'd like to see us more consistent in some certain areas, offensive line-wise, more consistent in the run game. Certain aspects of our pass protection that we worked on, putting in some wrinkles here and there, for that district season that we haven't necessarily been showing early, but like always. But you always want to see more consistency through the open week, and that the kids understand, like we talked about earlier, going from phase 1 in your season into that phase 2, where we have to up our game, so to speak.
Jordan, when you look back at your first half of the season, where do you feel like you can improve the most, and where were you pleased with your performance?
I feel like I can improve more on like my blocking and just being a better leader to the team.
What about something that you were pleased with that you need to carry over?
I was pleased with running the ball, running hard, and averaging the yards that I was getting.
We're visiting with Chris Fanelli and Jordon Hernandez. Coming up next, you will have district opponents and maybe one of the favorites in the district in Midland High. They went 4-1 in non-district play. Sometimes those non-district records, though, aren't necessarily telling the story. You have to look at who teams are playing, because Midland Legacy is sitting at 1-4,
right?
But that's usually quite the beast of a team, and has
for sure
a ton of athletes too. So we don't necessarily know what each team is, but we do know that this will be a difficult district to navigate through, as it usually is. But the standard has been set the last few years that the goal is a district title.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that coming up next, as we'll look at the district, tell you how each team did in non-district play, and look specifically at this matchup with Midland High and what kind of challenges they pose. That's coming up next right here on the High School Fan Zone, Friendship Tigers Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Breaking down Friendship sports. This is the Tigers Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is the Friendship Tigers Fan Zone here on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com, 100.7 The Score mobile app, which you can listen or watch us. However you're taking us in, we're glad that you've chosen to make us part of your Wednesday night Friendship Tigers Fan Zone here. We'll have the Lubbock Cooper Fan Zone coming up here in about 10 minutes or so. But before we get to that, we've got to look at this district slate for the Friendship Tigers. You at kind of the true bye week, which is nice. Always get that, but you get the time off before district play, so it gives everybody kind of even footing to get set for a tough district. And so far, this is what the other teams have done. Permian sits at 5-0 right now. Of course, Friendship's at 4-1 after the opening night loss. Midland High 4-1. San Angelo Central's 3-2. Odessa High listed at 2-2, and then Midland Legacy is 1-4 so far. Coach Fanelli, we were talking about it during the break, but it is kind of hard to pinpoint a favorite. Obviously, Friendship winning. I mean, you're defending champs, so. But outside of that, who poses the biggest challenge? Is there a team that you kind of have pinpointed? I know the coach speak answer. Hey, we're focused on Midland High, but is there a team that really kind of stands out among the rest?
Well, like you said, of course, this week Midland High stands out above everybody else. Looking, just being here for as long as I have and playing in this district, all of our district schools are well coached. They got great athletes. Midland Legacy, the 1-4 really doesn't mean a thing with the pre-district that they've gone through. But every year our district games they're close. the team that makes the least amount of mistakes is going to win, and they're close games. There's not a blowout in any of them. Just a testament to how good our district is.
Yeah, Midland High coming off of a game. Well, you guys had the bye week. They played a Floridian team,
right?
Santa Lucius, I think is what it's called. 56-31. They win that game.
Yes.
So, looking at the Bulldogs there, what have you seen on film from them that makes them a tough matchup?
Defensively, they returned 6 starters off of last year's team. That was very good. And so whenever you're returning that many guys off of already, a good team last year, that means they're going to have that nucleus of players, that leadership defensively that's going to make them just that much better. They run to the ball well, just watching as much film as we watch with the kids and on our own, they run to the ball well. They're a disciplined defense. They'll pose some challenges for our offense, but we've been able to score points. We scored points on them before. So in our meetings today, we talked about just execution. Execution of our game plan is what it'll come down to. And but their experience, their speed is also has stood out to me.
Yeah. So many times in these district games, sometimes it can come down to taking care of the football and turnovers and who's making less mistakes. So I'm sure that's probably been a discussion on how,
of course, yes,
important the turnover margin is. Jordan, if you were having to pinpoint a key or two for the team or for the offense to go get a victory this week, what would you say is a key to get a victory over Midland High?
Just staying dialed in, focus, and executing the game plan that we have this week.
Midland High is the opponent. What is something else about Midland High you've seen on film, Coach Fanelli? Is this a fast team to you? Is this a disciplined team? What's something along those lines that stands out?
I think they have some speed. Going off of I think you could always judge good football teams by their track programs. Yeah. Just me being a track coach as well. Last year, they had a strong track team. Their quarterback, that running back were both track kids. And just the offense that they run with the option, the Navy and the Air Force style of offense. That always poses a challenge. Coach Roboto, though, and our defensive staff, there's nobody that prepares like our defensive staff and knows the ins and outs of what that offense does. Sure. But overall team speed and how they run that offense poses a challenge.
Coach Jordan, we appreciate y'all coming in, and good luck this week. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Yes, sir.
It's been the Friendship Tigers Fan Zone. Cooper Fan Zone coming up next on 100.7 The Score.